Good evening. I'm here tonight to ask for your sponsorship for our Mother Language Literacy Project. Can you imagine being caught up in a war and finding yourself as Syrian, Iraqi, Afghan people are finding themselves here in Australia? With all your education, you would be lost. Now, Newcastle people, we actually pride ourselves as a refugee welcoming city. And so a few of us decided we'd set up Zara's House Refugee Women's Centre to make them feel as though they're a group of people who know them and want to be their friends. Now, last year, we interviewed the refugee women who had come to Newcastle, and we discovered that most had been at government-funded educational institutions like the TAFE for 2 years learning English. Do you know how many said that they were only beginners in English? 80% after 2 years of full-time education in English, beginners. So the next question we asked was, have you ever been to school? And again, that 80% said, no, we never learned to read and write in our own language. So you'd agree, if you can't read and write in your own language, you'll never learn to read and write in a new language until you learn to read and write in your own language. If you look at all the research, it's true. All over the world, people say your first language, you must be literate so that you can learn the second language adequately to use it. But none of the research says how to become literate in your mother language when you're an adult. And I'm an infants teacher and I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know. But I overheard one of our girls say to another one of our young women, they're very young, you know, they're only in their early 20s, most of these young refugee women. You know, I used to be an infants teacher in Afghanistan. I used to teach kids to read and write in Afghanistan. And my ears picked up. That's how we do it. That's how we do it. Now, new slide, please. Here is my friend Habiba. She was a teacher in Afghanistan and knows all there is to know about teaching reading and writing in Dari. Don't you, Habiba? So one of the things I said to the girls was, how could we do it? Simple. First of all, we had to download the curriculum, as you do when you set up school. Guess what this is? This is the kindergarten curriculum produced by the government of Afghanistan. You can buy anything online these days. Anything. And if you want to see how the first lesson is to learn to read and write in Afghanistan, and you're an infants teacher, you know that it's, can you see it sort of thing? It's like up and down, side, side, side. You know, those sort of things that you did in preschool. That's where we're beginning, with the alphabet. These girls didn't even know there was an alphabet. Now, we have our 7-point plan. and I can't hold it because I'm having a struggle here, but I'll get there. Just be patient, please. You talk amongst yourselves. This is our 7-point plan. 1, we identify about 8 women who can be teachers, and we begin their Australian accreditation training. 2, we arrange childminding so that the 40+ mums can get on with their learning or get on with their teaching. We begin with teaching letters and numbers. We create simple storybooks. This is, as far as I know, the only multilingual storybook available in English, in Persian and Arabic and English. So we've got to make a lot more books. And you can have a look later on at the way they do it. They just go 1 language, 2 languages, 3 languages, but it all says the same thing. 3. No. We're up to 5. We make sure that our mother language literacy can then transfer over to English literacy. If you are roughly at primary school level in your first language, you can then access and achieve in your second language. And last but not least, we help our women pass the Australian citizenship test, which is beyond comprehension if you cannot read and write. Is that 1 minute? Good. Geez, 6 minutes is short, isn't it? I have a very... Are you ready to hear my heart-wrenching and rousing thing that I want you to all hear? Yes. I wrote this 16 times. You must hear these words. Sticky tape. Oh, God. Sorry about this. We must find funding of $30,000 for the 7-step program for the next 2 years. That's $850 a week for 40 weeks, for about 40 women to begin with. But hundreds of women will be affected by this over time, probably thousands. We've never done this in Australia before. And we will have removed one of the greatest barriers in our country to advancing Australia fair: illiteracy in women. And what would the cost be of doing nothing? Isolation, disempowerment, and a lesser country, much lesser country, and weaker families. As they say, teach a boy to read and you educate a man. Teach a girl to read and you educate a family, a nation, and the future. So tonight, you have the opportunity and the honour to give us money, the money we need to help these refugee women start that wonderful journey. Thank you in anticipation.